So welcome to our first meeting. I wish there would have been more people here, but that's okay. The important people showed up, right? Keep that quiet. Okay, so this is the first meeting that we're gonna have. We're gonna have more meetings going down the road, probably every other month or however we decide to figure things out. My name is Gwen. I have only been Bigfoot researching for about the last year or so when I saw one by my house. And then I kind of took it from there. We've had several very crazy experiences at our house, and let me just tell you. So last February, we're going away and we pull up to the end of our road. You can either go right or left. In front of us is nothing but cornfields. So I'm playing on my phone, he's driving, I'm not really, I have to be busy because I can't pay attention in driving, or we'll be arguing the whole way. I just happened to look up, and I saw this very large, completely black from head to toe, this thing walking through the cornfield, right along the wood line. And at first I was like, oh, somebody's in the cornfield. But then I'm like, wait a second. I've never seen anybody in that cornfield except for the farmer, and he doesn't live close, so he's got to drive a tractor, and there's no tractor anywhere. So I'm watching this. Now it's only a matter of, 30 seconds, because he turns the corner and we drive down the road, but I'm watching this thing, driving down the road, and I'm like, what the hell is that? I know there's reports for the area, because I've already looked it up. I've been one of those closet Bigfoot people almost my whole life. Never seen one before, so now I'm like, is that what I saw? I'm trying to justify in my mind what it is exactly I saw, because I know it was not a person. So, fast forward a couple of weeks, midnight, I'm sitting in bed and reading a book on my phone, and I hear whistling in my front yard. It sounded like somebody was standing outside my bedroom window whistling. And I've heard that this is a way that Bigfoots can communicate with each other. So I'm like, did you hear that? He's like, hear what? I'm like, did you hear the whistling? Pretty soon it whistles again. And we both run outside. There's nothing there. Absolutely nothing. So now I'm thinking, am I going crazy? Because I know I heard this whistling. And there's nobody there. There's no cars in our driveway. You would have thought you would have heard somebody running or whatever. We didn't turn any lights on, so they wouldn't have known we were coming. So we let it go. A couple months go by. 2:30 in the morning, we are woken up by the sound of metal being ripped off our house. That's what it sounded like. It sounded like metal being ripped off the house. It wakes us both up. So now I know I'm not completely not crazy, because he hears it too. We run outside. There's absolutely nothing. There's no damage to the house. There's no metal anywhere laying. There's no damage to anything, and there's nobody there. Needless to say, I didn't sleep the rest of the night, and I did not go to work the next day because I had not slept, and I'm like, this is insane. I don't even know what's happening. So I started researching even more, because now I have things going on in my house. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So, I'm already a paranormal investigator. This is Sean. He's our lead investigator for Central Pennsylvania Investigators. And so, I know things can happen, because this is what we do. But as I'm reading up things, I start thinking maybe there's something paranormal or supernatural to Bigfoot, that maybe that's why he hasn't been caught. We don't have a specimen. We don't have, we get footprints, we get blurry photos, we get, all kinds of stuff. But as many reports as there are about Bigfoot, as many sightings as there are, somebody would have hit one with a car, somebody would have shot one when they were out hunting, there would be something, and there's nothing.
Wow.
So I really start thinking about it.
Okay.
Well then, we still hear weird things in the woods. We take our puppies outside at nighttime. I will not leave our dogs outside at nighttime anymore by themselves. I'm out there right with them, flashlight. And we hear odd noises. I've hunted my whole animal sounds I have never heard before. Like we get coyotes in the background, we get an owl occasionally, which even then I'm like, is it really an owl? Because they're known to mimic other animals in the woods. So I'm like, is that really an owl or is that until I see it, to me it has to be an owl because I just don't know. But then I had my chicken coop attacked. We have a big chicken run with our chicken coop right in the middle. The bottom of the chicken house has like a heavy fencing that's tapped in with like U-shaped tacks. You have to hammer them in. I mean, they're pretty strong. And the top half is just chicken wire and stapled. So I come home from work one day, chicken's out. And I'm like, what? That's odd. So I get her in, I go, do a perimeter check to see where she got out. The entire bottom fencing is pulled away. The tacks that were hammered in are now just hanging there. And I'm like, what the hell? So I walk around the backside and the chicken wire it's literally pulled back like a sardine can. Like it was just wound back. And there's chicken feathers on the ground. Best I can count that we're missing 2. It's hard to count them when they're all over the place. But I was like, and I did get a track by the chicken coop. This was a month or 2 after the chicken coop had been attacked. I can't be sure of what it is. It's only 8 inches long, but it clearly has, like a heel, and it clearly had, like you could really see like 3 toes. I don't know what it is. I know I wasn't walking around out there with my bare feet, but so I'm vigilant now because we have these weird things going on. So last September, for my birthday, I went with the BFRO to Allegheny County and spent like a week with them hunting in the woods for Bigfoot. And my last night, I got nothing the whole time I was there, except for the last night. Last night, me, the BFRO guy, and another guy are standing in the middle of the logging road. I've got my thermal cameras, I've got my night vision, like I'm ready. And I hear something walking. Like it was logging road, woods. In front of me, you could clearly hear sticks breaking, leaves. It was definitely an upright bipedal thing walking. Whip up my thermal camera, they whip up their thermal cameras. We can't find it. There's not a chipmunk, there's not a coyote, there's nothing walking in front of us, but you could hear it. And I will never forget that. I'll be 90 with dementia and remember that because it was really, like, I even spoke to the BFRO guy last night on the phone. And we were both like, yeah, there's gotta be something supernatural to this because we heard it, but we couldn't find it. It was not on the thermal camera, it was not on the night vision camera, nothing was there. So that's what led to this. So on that trip, Got Knockers got coined kind of accidentally. One of the BFRO guys that I was with had picked up some sticks, took all the bark off. They were actually pretty nice. I was a little jealous that I didn't have a set for myself. But I jokingly said, I'm gonna make you a t-shirt that says Got Knockers on it. And I went home, I made the t-shirt, sent him a picture of it. He emailed me immediately and was like, you have something here, you should really trademark it. So I spent months, do I really wanna do this? And then I did it. So it's at the trademark office, I'm waiting for my approval, but until then I'm allowed to use it. So that's how Got Knockers got started. And that's my Bigfoot story. So come in March, we are going to have an organized Bigfoot hunt. We're only taking 10 people, and we are gonna go to the Natalie Mountain. Just a few weeks ago, a gentleman messaged me and said, I was hunting and I had an encounter with Bigfoot. And there's another gentleman that he was with that's from Catawissa that had a similar experience at the same time. So that, as a crow flies, that's only 5 miles from my house, like if you were to draw a straight line. So we decided to organize kind of like an informal hunt, investigation. I don't want to call it a hunt. It's not a hunt. We're not
expedition.
I don't want to kill it, right?
Like expedition.
I want to get that unblurry photo. You know, every photo you see of Bigfoot is blurry. Part of that is because they zoom in on it so hard that it distorts the photo. But you can't really see it if you don't zoom in on it. Like, so it's hard. But I'm hell-bent and determined. I'm going to get that first unblurry photo. So, anybody's welcome to attend, but we're only going to take 10 people for the Bigfoot hunt.
First come, first serve.
It's first come, first serve. We did bring some well, this is not examples, this is our stuff, this is our gear. We did bring stuff that we use on the Bigfoot hunts that you can check out. Sean's got his radios and stuff. Oh, by the way, Sean Wagner. He is with CARC, who I'm also a newly member of CARC. Sean and I have been doing paranormal podcasts on CARC's YouTube channel, and as of January 1st, CARC has their own YouTube channel.
Oh, wait, Brendan would, if we said CARC, Brendan would go crazy.
Oh, I know. It's Catskill Appalachian Research
You have to
Collective.
spell it out, but he wants to go C-A-R-C.
C-A-R-C.
Yeah, although I've said CARC many times.
It's just easier that way.
It is.
Yeah. But we've been doing podcasts for paranormal stuff on there, and as of January 1st, CARC became a universal channel on their own channel on YouTube. And Sean and I are going to continue to have our paranormal podcast. And I will, as of February 9th, I will be co-hosting From Behind Tall Trees Bigfoot podcast. And then March 23rd, they've given me my own show. So pretty excited. But I'm hoping to share evidence and interview people on my show. So never know what's going to happen.
You'll be busy because you're still going to stay on my show.
I'm still being on your show. So 3 shows.
You'll be up to 3 shows.
I don't know how that happened, but Sean is one of the co-founders of the Catskill Appalachian Research Collective, and he came today to do a little presentation, I think. You're going to do some speaking?
Yeah, I guess so.
And then we want to hear your stories.
Sure.
Absolutely. Like, I'm really super excited because I've already talked to you and you've got photos and stories, and
That's awesome.
I know. I'm excited. I can't wait. I have no photos, by the way. Just that footprint in my yard. That's it. That's all I got. Because Gwen never has a camera on her when things are happening. So,
My turn?
your turn. I've told my spiel. Don't, yeah. I'll see if I can get that map back up.
I cheat, I have extensive notes. But I want to make sure I cover everything there too. Anyone out here think they've heard of wood knock? Or saw a Bigfoot? Saw a Bigfoot by chance? You did? That's awesome. Oh, for that reason.
I just wanted to see how bright it's going to be.
All right.
Oh, hold on.
Well, we've had a couple while we've been in the woods. Some even during the daytime. And one, ironically, I was going live at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was by myself at Salt Fork State Park, and I was broadcasting live, and all of a sudden, so that was pretty cool. I can't say it was Bigfoot. I believe in proof, and it doesn't. Just unusual noise that came from the woods. Plus, one belief is it comes from the glands. They do something in the glands, because it would seem ridiculous for a Bigfoot to be carrying a wood stick. It just doesn't seem very likely. unfortunately. You mentioned about CARC and CPI. Also, I'm the director of Central Pennsylvania Investigators. The difference between us and CARC, both do paranormal and Bigfoot, but I also do live shots of historical stuff, because I have stuff from Lebanon County, Blue-Eyed Six, and I went to, I think I did one nearby here. I can't remember, unfortunately, top of my head. But anyway, I also put some historical stuff out, as well as drone shots at Central Pennsylvania Investigators. And the CARC is pretty much just Bigfoot and paranormal. And predominantly Bigfoot heavy as well, let me add. You talked about the channel. And she'll also be on then February 10th, as we will premiere Paranormal Files Into the Darkness. Our guest will be Katie Burr. She was on Ghost Lab, world's biggest ghost hunt, Penhurst Asylum. I spent about a week there. She also did something recently in Wyoming. Not sure exactly what was going on in Wyoming. Could have been just some kind of video thing. And we'll also have some other guests, including Barry Fitzgerald from GHI and Ghost Hunters as well, in case you watch. Anyone watch paranormal shows as well? Okay, so you noticed some of these names? Awesome. I also have a parapsychologist coming on, because I tried to get the guy who used to be on Most Haunted. Fake as can be as a show, but let me tell you, I wanted to get him on there and to admit that they act big time on that show. He hasn't seen my message. But at least I found the guy to send him a message. Some of the tactics we use, I believe, first of all, I believe they hang out in the thickest of the thick. You have to go way inland, because that's where we had our call, we'll play later on. We were probably a good 7 or 8 miles off the road, and we were in Allegheny National Forest, the exact same place she went as well. That's a great place, by the way. And what we do is, when we hit these places, generally from about midnight to 5, when we first get there, we will take and let things sit, not do anything. And after a while, I will play calls. And I have it actually, I'll play some for you, some of those, and the one I actually do have, it's legit. It's amazing sometimes where you can find calls to play out there for them, because I have some calls from Amazon, of all places.
Buy a Bigfoot call.
They sound good though. They sound good. Another theory is the familiarity theory. That's where go to the same place and do like the same call. Announce like your presence. Where you do a vocal call, you play something like I'm going to play, or maybe knock on trees so many times. Get your presence known that you are there, and what happens is there's some belief over time that you're more likely to get a response back. And that makes sense, because nothing, just like us, we get used to things as time goes by. And it would make sense that they would also be the same way. Most sightings are either from hunters in the woods, or, ironically, people driving around. That was documented by Mike Lucci on the CARC group. He went back, did major research, and found that most of the cases actually were from people driving by or hunters. Which makes sense, because hunters also are driving around at that time period, midnight and 5, towards 5, maybe even 6. And if you're a nocturnal creature, that's when they'd be out predominantly. Not that there aren't daytime sightings, because there certainly are. Can you show that? Sightings around here. I'm also aware of some sightings years ago, more of a sighting in Sunbury, outside Sunbury. And when I went to Deegan Stein Library, there was a presentation done by a group, and there were a bunch of people there. Is Forsyth a mountain nearby? Little Forsyth? Something similar to that?
Dornsight.
Dornsight? Yes, there were some Dornsight sightings that people listed. Sorry about that. I don't have, I think I changed phones that time period, don't have it available to me. There's some sightings around there, and hopefully we can zero in on.
That is the state of Pennsylvania. That is, I don't know if everybody can see that. I wanted to get it bigger, but it's just not working out that way. These are sightings in the state of Pennsylvania, anything that's been reported. The colors are by date, so it gives like a time range of when things were reported.
Any chance we can zoom in on this area?
Well, I have, the next frame is zoomed in on our area. It's, so, like Sunbury is here, up here is Bloomsburg, here's Shamokin, down here's Elizabethville, out even here to Middlebrook. So you got, now this is just what's been reported. Now I didn't report anything that I saw, so I know that there's a lot of people that just don't report it.
Same in my case.
Mainly because they don't want to appear crazy. You start talking Bigfoot, people start, like putting a label on you, like, they're a little nuts. So a lot of people do not report what they see. So this is just what's been reported over the years.
Yeah, the one, also, like you said, it's a long ago sighting. She told me, and I'm still in contact with her, it looked like, she thought it was like a gorilla type costume, someone kid in a costume. And I eventually talked to her about it. She goes, no one ever came forward and said, ha ha, did you see me out there in the woods on that hot, sunny day? Wearing the costume, I come out at you, I was sweating like could be. That never happened. And if it's gonna happen, let's face it, no one's gonna do it and be that uncomfortable. And she should know the difference between a bear and a Bigfoot. And that's another thing too. Just be careful, make sure it's not a bear. They can take a few steps, but if you have more than a few steps being taken, they can't take too many steps.
Yeah, upright now.
Yeah.